And now, Kirby's Dreamland 2.gb. I've kept this story to myself for what seems like so long now. I keep telling myself to forget it, because what happened was far-fetched, and no one in their right mind would believe it. However, I keep getting reminded of it. It's like a secret. The more I try to keep it to myself, the more it keeps nagging in the back of my mind. So here I am, writing a creepypasta. Everyone knows creepypasta are just made-up stories. No one should take them seriously, right? Well, I figure that if I can turn my experience into a creepypasta, maybe my mind will stop taking it seriously, and I'll start seeing it as just a story too. Hopefully that will make it less real, so I can brush it aside and forget it. Kirby's Dreamland 2. I played this game for the Game Boy Color as a kid. It's a great little platformer that I play every now and again. I still have the cartridge, but I prefer to play it with an emulator on my computer for the bigger screen. My experience, if you can call it that, started for seemingly no reason. I'd played the game a few times before on my computer and had no problems with the ROM before. I had decided to quickly play the game one day, when I was bored, and for the most part it was normal. I guess the first weird thing that I noticed was in one of the Red Canyon levels. I used Kirby's main ability to inhale enemies on one of the squids found in the levels. As the creature was vacuumed into Kirby's mouth and swallowed, Kirby's sprite did a quick animation. The animation was a subtle grimace that crossed his face. It lasted only a second, but it caught me off guard as I had never seen him do it before while playing the game. I disregarded it, thinking that perhaps I simply hadn't noticed it before. It was a quick animation after all. However, as I progressed through the stages, I noticed that the grimacing animation he did after swallowing them continued to occur more frequently. Not only that, but it would become more exaggerated and pained, as if it was physically hurting him. When I noticed this, I wasn't quite sure what to think. I knew the game well enough to realize that this wasn't something programmed into the original game. And I knew the ROM wasn't hacked, as I had played it through before without this happening. I wasn't particularly bothered by it, and assumed there must be an explanation for it. Maybe I should take a screenshot, I thought. I could post it on a forum, and find out if it's a hack or something similar. I decided to do just that, and the next time he did the animation, I quickly pressed the print skirt key on my computer, which is supposed to take screenshots of whatever is on the screen. I paused the game after doing this, and loaded up the screenshot I took on an image program. I apparently didn't use the save screenshot button that's in most emulators. Okay, it doesn't actually say that, I'm sorry. And loaded up the screenshot I took on an image program. I immediately sighed as I saw the animation wasn't in the screenshot. It was just Kirby standing on the platform in the game, normally. I assumed that the animation was too quick for me, and I must have pressed the print skirt key a second too early or too late. I tried to catch it in the screenshot the next few times he did it, but each time I got the same result. I also didn't think of trying to take a video of... No, I'm sorry, I'm just inserting that again. Eventually, I just gave up and decided to play the rest of the game. After a while, I finally got to Dark Castle. After going through the first door, the music stopped, yet the sound effects kept going. I thought it was just a glitch, so I used 2 emulator to save and was about to exit out of the game, when the music started again. Except, it wasn't the usual music. It was an odd, 8-bit sound that resembled labored breathing. I froze and stared at the screen. I don't scare easily, but I'll admit I was curious and a little spooked by the sound. I moved Kirby forward, and I was about to inhale the next enemy when, to my surprise, a text box appeared at the bottom of the screen, something that had never happened in this game before. The letters looked very pixelated and messy. They said, "Please, no more." Dumbfounded, I tried to make him move forward, He moved just an inch before another text box appeared. This one said, "Why? Why do you make me kill them?" It finally let me move on. I made Kirby inhale another enemy. One more text box read, "It hurts." From then on, every time Kirby swallowed an enemy, he would increase in size. Slowly but surely, his sprite became a grotesque, lumpy blob of some kind. I was in awe. This had to be a hack. And whoever made it, they surely were messed up in the head. The first text box in what seemed like a while popped up. It said, "I feel them, dying slowly." The breathing sound became more fast-paced, louder. The final text box appeared. "They want to live." Suddenly, sores began to show on Kirby's sprite. They grew larger and larger until, with shock, I saw one of the enemies I had Kirby inhale burst out of one of the sores on his body. And then another, and another, until every enemy he'd defeated were crawling out of him. They looked awful, half decayed and all clambering over each other in a stupor. Kirby himself was an unidentifiable mess, a mound of pulsating mush next to this mass of hopeless creatures. I finally snapped out of my shock and reached for the burnt screw key one last time. And when I pressed it, I heard a harsh click come from my computer, and it went completely dead. I was in a daze. I wasn't sure whether what I had seen was real, or if I had gone insane. If I'm not just crazy, then my guess is that it has to be a hack. A hack made by someone incredibly sick. That computer doesn't work anymore. Maybe the ROM contained a virus. That's the only explanation I can think of. Whatever it was, I can't stop thinking about it. Disclaimer! I, Ultra Kirby Fan 100, didn't write this story. The end.